And welcome to another episode of the Tar Heels Insider Podcast. I'm your host, Grant Chachere, bringing you all the latest news in regards to your North Carolina Tar Heels. Yesterday was a very interesting day for college football. Great day of college football. Just overall great weekend. Screw the great days. Great weekend. We had a lot of great games. This weekend, and it was awesome to see. It's pretty much the most loaded weekend we've had probably since week one. You had Florida State and Virginia. Virginia upset Florida State in double overtime. You had Arizona State and TCU. That game was a great game as well. Houston came back from behind to beat Oregon State 27-24 at overtime. So you had a great night of games. And Saturday happened. Ole Miss upset LSU. Oregon defeated Penn State in double overtime. Alabama upset Georgia. And Georgia, for some reason, they can't beat Alabama. It's weird. Even when they're the much better team, they just can't beat Alabama. Texas A&M Auburn was really close. Indiana came back late and won against Iowa. Tennessee beat Mississippi State in overtime. Georgia Tech came back from behind and beat Wake Forest in overtime. There's a lot of overtime games this weekend. Illinois walked off USC at the buzzer. BYU, Colorado, that it was a good game too. A lot of close games, a lot of great games across the slate. It was an awesome weekend for everybody. So it was just a great overall college football weekend. It was fantastic, man. Oh my God, I'm sorry. Like, I know this ACC. A lot of you guys are college basketball Andes. I'm such a college football Andy. I'm not gonna lie, dude. Like, it was just a great weekend. Unfortunately, UNC didn't take part in it because they had a bye week. And next week they will, and they will take on Clemson. And since we got nothing to talk about right now, why don't we talk about it? Let's talk about a little bit about Clemson. And I know this sounds weird. And I think it sounds weird for a lot of different people. And I can't believe I'm saying this. But can UNC beat Clemson? Don't know. Right? And the reason why I'm asking this question is because this is a question I wouldn't have asked at the beginning of the year. Matter of fact, I still think Clemson's the better team. But UNC has been dealing with a lot, right? You had, quarterback issues. You have offensive line issues. You've had running back issues outside of Damon June, who is a freshman. And yes, while the defense is improving, they tend to shoot themselves in the foot a good bit. And then you have Clemson. Clemson's 1-3 right now. Actually, they probably should be 0-4. They were down 16-3 to Troy, and then of course scored 24 answered points to beat them 27-16. But they were close to being 0-4. They lost against Clemson in the season opener. They got upset by Georgia Tech, which at the time was an upset, but now it doesn't look like anymore. They got upset by Georgia Tech on a walk-off field goal for the win. And then not last week, but 2 weeks ago, which is technically last week, I don't know. But the last time out, they played Clemson. They played Syracuse, and they got their butts whooped at home, not at the Loud House, not in Syracuse, at home, in their own stadium. So these are two mediocre football teams going at it. But the catch is that Clemson's actually a talented team. You brought back Clay. Yes, you can say whatever you want about Clay Klubnik, but Clay Klubnik last year balled out. Like, it was by far his best season. You brought back a really good receiving core. in Antonio Williams and Brian Wesco and TJ Moore. Like you have a great receiving core. You have one of the best offensive line units in the ACC. Like, by the way, Clemson, as much as Clemson's offense has been a dumpster fire, they're fourth in tackles for loss allowed and 25th in sacks. They're 25th in sacks allowed. That's really good. That means they don't allow much penetration, which should bode trouble for UNC's defensive line, which is arguably, you can make a case, the best unit on Carolina right now. So that's not looking too good. But everywhere else, they got issues. But they got talent, man. And especially on the defensive side of the ball. I mean, on the defensive side of the ball, you have one of the best defensive line units in the country with Peter Woods and Will Hope. Like, it just doesn't make any sense. TJ Parker's a fantastic play. I mean, it just, like, Sammy Brown and Wade Woodaz. I mean, those are two great linebackers. Avion Terrell is a great DB. Like, they have talent all over the place. They're 1-3. And I think a good bit of that's coaching. I think a good bit of that is, not really having any depth because of the transfer portal. Because Dabo is like, I wouldn't say, actually, well, he is anti-transfer portal. Like, he's used to before, but like, for like a former player, like they get maybe one or two players. He doesn't like to use the transfer portal. And that, of course, is allowed to this junior and senior class and never really feel contested. They know they have the job because they're good. But the great thing about the transfer portal is that you're always bringing in talent and you can challenge the players that are currently on your team. And, like, it's just amazing. I've never seen a team, and a lot of people are comparing this team to Florida State last year, but I don't think last year's Florida State team was as nearly as talented as Clemson. Considering the fact that a good bit of the players that are on Clemson were on last year's team. A lot of the dudes of Florida State last year were transfers. So it's just really, it's mind-boggling how bad Clemson's been. But can UNC beat them? I think UNC has a somewhat of a chance if they change the quarterback. I think having Mac Johnson as quarterback could solve a little bit of your issues, but not really. Your offensive line is still not very good. You have a really good running back in Damon June, but Damon June's not going to be on the field 24/7, 365 days a week. Do you have the receivers to beat Clemson deep down the field? Not really, and you don't. And while you have improved defensively, Clemson still got dudes, right? They still have dudes on their team. Yeah, they're 1-3, but they got some dudes. So, to me, like, yes, Carolina does have a chance. They're at home. You had a bye week, so you had time to recuperate and reinvigorate yourselves. But it's still not looking very good. I still think Clemson is going to win this game. And if history bodes, and if you just going off of history, this should be Clemson's get right game. It should. Clemson's pissed off. They know they have the better team. This is a game against a bad UNC team is a great way to get back on the right track. Do I think their playoff hopes are over? Hell yeah. But you still have time to turn around your season. Instead of becoming a disaster, maybe you form it. Maybe finish the season 8-4, 9-3. Yes, it's not what you want, but shoot, it's much better than going 2-10 like Florida State did last year. That's for damn sure. And also, UNC, your Tar Heels, have only beaten Clemson twice since the turn of the century. Once in 2001 and again in 2010. The Tar Heels have not beaten the Tigers since 2010, y'all. It's been 15 years. You've only won twice in the last 25 years against Clemson. And that was even during kind of the dark ages of the program in the 2000s, where they're kind of where Carolina's at. Maybe not like this current Carolina team, but maybe like the Mac Brown teams in the second era. That's where Clemson was. And North Carolina still can beat them. So just going off the history and just looking at how the teams match up, Clemson's going to win this game, y'all. Like, I think they have a chance to win. I do, but can the coaching staff change around their game plans to fit what the players are good at? Are they willing to adapt and change? And right now, I don't think Belichick is willing and ready to adapt and change unless Gio Lopez is hurt. I really do think that if Gio Lopez is healthy, I still think they'll probably start Gio Lopez. I just don't see. I think this is way too conservative with how they do things. And the only reason why he's going to start Mac Johnson this week is probably because Gio Lopez is probably out for the year or for a long period of time because that injury did not look good. But yeah, I just can't see UNC beating Clemson. But that's going to wrap up today's show. I'm your host, Grant Chachere. Make sure to follow us on Twitter at Tar Heels on SI. Also, make sure to go follow me on Twitter. My Twitter handle is right there in the bottom left-hand corner of my screen. And then also make sure to go follow us on Facebook as well, North Carolina Tar Heels on SI. That's all you got to look it up in the search bar, and it should be one of the first things that pops up. Thank you guys so much for watching. You guys have a great rest of your Sunday.